Let's talk about teaching, but not just as a job, right? Let's talk about it as a human story. It's a journey that starts with this powerful sense of calling, then navigates these huge challenges, and in the end, it really all boils down to a choice. We're going to dive into this whole journey, and we'll do it through the eyes of teachers themselves to really get to the heart of what this profession is all about. You know, this quote from Carly Flandreau, a former high school English teacher, it just kind of stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? I loved teaching, but not being a teacher. That right there is the paradox we're going to unpack. How can you love the actual work, the students, the light bulb moments, the subject you're passionate about, but at the same time struggle with the reality of being a teacher? So, let's start at the beginning. What pulls someone into this world in the first place? Because for so many, it isn't just picking a career from a list. It feels more like a calling, like a mission they just have to follow. And what's really striking when you look at the reasons, they're almost never about money or, climbing the ladder. It's about serving a community, being a mentor, and this deep belief that they can help build a better future. And a lot of the time, that drive comes directly from their own life. I mean, just listen to Lizette Becerra's story. She felt called to teach in the exact same community where her oldest brother was killed when she was only 7. For her, teaching was a way to go back into that space, a place of trauma, and turn it into a place of hope. It was her way of serving the kids who needed it most. That's just profound. Or take a look at Steven Spencer. He's a former college football player, and he noticed that a lot of his teammates grew up without strong male role models. So, inspired by his own dad, he saw teaching as his chance to be that person for other kids, to pay it forward. But what happens when this incredible, powerful idealism slams head-on into the day-to-day reality of a classroom? That calling is a powerful thing, for sure. But that first year of teaching, oh man, it is often a complete shock to the system. It's a reckoning, really, where all the theory you learned in college collides with the beautiful, messy, unpredictable chaos of a real school day. And this quote from Donna Earle, a 37-year veteran, just says it all, doesn't it? You can spend 4 years studying pedagogy and educational theory, but absolutely nothing prepares you for that moment when you are standing alone in front of 30 kids for the very first time. Donna Earle's story from her first day is the perfect example. She tried to take her kindergartners on a simple bathroom break. The girls came out, but the boys didn't. She goes in to investigate and finds one boy scrubbing his hands like a surgeon and another building a mountain out of paper towels. So right then and there, she had to improvise her very first "this is a stand-up potty talk." They definitely don't teach you that in college. It's just a little snapshot of the constant think-on-your-feet creativity the job demands. But, the challenges of that first year, they can go so much deeper than just classroom management. For a lot of new teachers, it's actually a massive cultural shock, one that forces them to look at their own blind spots. Jennifer Rich described herself as a cupcake from a rich suburb, and her first job was in Bushwick, Brooklyn. She remembers getting upset with her students for looking down when she spoke to them, only to find out later that in their culture, that was a sign of respect. She said she was just horrified at her own mistake, at her own lack of knowledge. So how did she finally connect with them? Well, she broke the rules. The curriculum was super rigid, but she started secretly shutting her classroom door every day and reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone aloud to them. And it was inside that shared story, something totally off script, that she and her students finally found their common ground. So after all that struggle, all that chaos, why do they stay? Well, the answer is pretty simple: the impact. And honestly, the best way to understand that impact isn't to hear from the teachers, it's to hear from the students. So let's really think about this for a second. Go back in your own memory. Who was that one teacher for you? What was it about them that stuck with you? As you're about to see, it is so often the smallest acts of belief, of just seeing someone, that can completely change a life. Tatrick Esty always thought of himself as just an average guy. But his 4th grade teacher, Miss Johnson, she saw something else. She told him, "You are more than you think you are." She pushed him to enter an essay contest, and he won a gold medal. That one moment of belief totally changed his trajectory. He went on to become his high school's class valedictorian. And for Renata Gray, it wasn't about grades or contests. The thing she remembers most about her teacher, Miss Raven, was her ability to just listen. Having a trusted adult who would actually make the time to hear what she had to say and take it to heart, well, that made all the difference in the world. And then you have Mr. Birmingham, or Mr. Berm. I love this. He had a motto: if the ship is hit,
Everyone on board goes down. He just refused to let anyone get left behind. He'd read a chapter over and over and over again if he had to, until every single kid in that room got it. It was about all of them succeeding, together.
Those moments of impact, that's the fuel that keeps teachers going. But those moments are happening against the backdrop of a relentless daily grind. And this is where that love for teaching really crashes into the hard reality of the job. I mean, this book title, From Teacher Rensloff Art, just says everything, doesn't it? It is a constant tug of war every single day between the reasons you love it and the overwhelming reasons that make you want to walk away. So what are those reasons? Pulling them in two different directions.
Well, the reasons to stay are almost always about people and passion. It's the kids, of course. It's the other teachers in the trenches with you who get it. It's a real, genuine love for what you teach, whether it's history or chemistry or art. And it's chasing those incredible, rewarding moments. That's what gets them to come back every morning.
But then you have the reasons they leave, and these are heavy. The pandemic left a lot of teachers completely burned out. The workload is just unsustainable for so many. The pay, it often doesn't feel like it matches the importance of the work. And then you add this feeling of being disrespected by the public and this constant, terrifying fear of school shootings. It is a massive burden to carry. So this constant battle, this tension, it eventually brings every teacher to a crossroads. It's a moment where they have to make a really tough choice. Do I stay in this profession that I truly love, or do I leave to save a piece of myself? So how is Donna Earle, the kindergarten teacher from the beginning, how has she lasted 37 years? She says she's learned to focus on the wins no matter how small. She remembers the 80-year-old man she taught to read. She focuses on that look on a student's face when an idea finally clicks. Those are the victories that keep her going.
But that giving comes at a cost. There's this incredible story of a teacher who watched her superintendent read The Giving Tree at a retirement ceremony. You know, the story about the tree that gives and gives until there's nothing left but a stump. And her mom, who was in the audience, just said indignantly, "I am not a stump." It's such a perfect, powerful way to show that core fear every teacher has, that you'll give so much of yourself that one day there's just nothing left.
And that really leaves us with this one crucial question. We count on our teachers to pour everything they have into shaping the future, into raising the next generation. But who's looking out for them? Who is shaping a sustainable, supportive, and safe future for our teachers? And that's not just a question for them. It's a question for all of us.